My name is Spencer. If you told my 15-year-old self I'd be the successful one, I would have laughed. Back then, I was the invisible second son, living in the shadow of my older brother, Nathan, the family's golden boy. While Nathan got all the praise, I got out. I put myself through college and quietly built a career my family never really understood. But I never forgot where I came from or the sacrifices my parents made. My parents, David and Mary, worked their fingers to the bone their whole lives. I knew their retirement would be a struggle. So, I saved every penny. By 30, I had enough to do something I dreamed of for years: give them the peace they deserved. I found the perfect place. A beautiful single-story house with a garden for Mom and a big garage for Dad. When I surprised them with the keys, their reaction was everything I had hoped for. For the first time in a long time, I saw pure, unburdened joy in their eyes. But then, things started to change. My weekly calls with Mom became shorter. She sounded distracted, distant. When I offered to visit, she'd make excuses. A knot of dread started tightening in my stomach. Something was wrong. I decided to drive down one weekend, unannounced. As I pulled onto the street, I could hear loud music booming from the house. My house. The front door was unlocked. I walked into a full-blown party. Strangers were everywhere. And there, in the middle of it all, was my brother Nathan and his wife Amelia, acting like the king and queen of the castle. I couldn't find my parents. I finally found Mom, hiding in the laundry room, folding towels with a pained expression. She told me Dad was trying to sleep in his truck in the garage to escape the noise. That's when the ice in my veins turned to fire. I walked back into the living room, shut off the music, and faced my brother. In front of everyone, I held up a copy of the deed. This party is over. This is my parents' house. I bought it. Nathan just laughed. A cold, dismissive laugh. And then he said the words that shattered everything. Relax, little brother. It's our turn now. Mom and Dad have had their fun. In that moment, I realized this wasn't just a mistake. This was who he was. An entitled parasite who believed the world owed him everything. My anger vanished, replaced by a cold, clear purpose. The next day, I made 2 calls. The first was to a travel agent. I booked my parents a 2-week, all-inclusive vacation to Hawaii, effective immediately. They needed to be away from this. The second call was to my lawyer. With my parents safely gone, I began to build my case. I had security cameras installed around the property. I spoke to the neighbors, who were more than willing to provide statements about the constant parties and noise. The cameras caught everything. Nathan and Amelia treating the house like their own personal frat house. But the real prize was catching him meeting with a loan officer at the house, trying to take out a second mortgage on a property he didn't own. Fraud. With all the evidence compiled, my lawyer drafted the documents. It wasn't just a letter. It was an official, legally binding eviction notice for trespassing and unlawful detainer. It was time to end this. A process server delivered the notice. I watched on the security feed as Nathan's smug confidence crumbled into disbelief, then panic. He called me, screaming, threatening. I didn't answer. I let the law speak for me. Faced with irrefutable evidence of fraud and a mountain of neighbor complaints, they had no choice. A week later, the cameras showed them packing their things into a moving truck, their faces sullen and defeated. I picked up my parents from the airport. They were tanned and relaxed. I drove them home, and on the way, I told them everything. For the first time, I saw my father's face harden not with disappointment in me, but with anger at his firstborn son.
My boy, you did the right thing. We let this go on for too long. We were wrong.
Your mother is right. He needs to learn. Thank you, Spencer. For everything. I handed my parents the keys again, this time to a clean, quiet house that was truly theirs. It wasn't just about a building. It was about breaking a cycle. It was about giving them back their dignity, and finally, their peace.